Greetings, brothers and sisters. Hello and welcome back to Eva's House of Spirit. I'm Eva, and I wanted to do a VR tonight. I wanted to do a VR to a video by Kellyanne Maddox. The video is Chaos Magic, involves drugs, orgies, and going insane, busting myths. I'm going to have a link to that in the description below. I don't disagree with what Kellyanne has said in her video in regard to some sort of misunderstandings in regard to what chaos magic is. I will also reiterate, just as she said that she's no expert, I too am no expert. So take what I'm replying or what I am chiming into the conversation with a grain of salt as well. As for the interesting topic of sort of self-titling, I like the term Chaos Pathwalker, but generally I will just say Chaos Magician. And the reason why, for me, I don't see a problem with the term Chaos Magician is that, for me, magician, it's just a sort of descriptive term. I kind of feel that it's empowering to sort of refer to myself as a Chaos Magician, because I feel that, for me, that term sort of almost levels the playing field, like a female or a male can be a Chaos Magician. Just as in witchcraft circles, the term witch is often used to refer to males or females that practice witchcraft. There are others that may choose different terminology, things like mage and so on and so forth, whatever that they personally feel is appropriate to them. And I think everyone has a right to define themselves however they feel is appropriate. I'm just explaining my own personal reasoning why I don't see a problem with referring to myself often as a chaos magician. I just feel that for me, it's not a term that is bound by gender. Like, I don't feel that there's a conflict or a clash in terms of my identifying as female with that terminology being used to describe myself. I hope that makes sense. I just thought I would chime that in because that did come up in the discussion, in the conversation, in Kellyanne's video. So I thought I would throw that in along the lines of what I'm saying in terms of how I feel about the subject. One thing I wanted to definitely say is that chaos magic is hard to define. It's extremely hard to define because it lacks dogma. It's kind of hard to pin something down that lacks dogma. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. As far as I'm aware, there are as many approaches to chaos magic and as many kinds of chaos as there are grains of sand in a desert. Why? Well, because one size does not fit all. I believe that, and I understand from what I've seen and experienced, that individuality, first-hand experience, personal psychology, and gnosis, they will all, direct and color any given chaos journey. So we all sort of pursue and understand chaos in our own way. Our experience of chaos is going to be very different, so it's kind of hard to sort of limit or label something that's just so diverse. Also, I will say, I do definitely agree with Kellyanne in that chaos magic is not the same as eclectic witchcraft. That is true. What I believe separates a chaot from just an eclectic witch, I personally do believe that the 6 core principles, they are a good loose framework and guide for anyone seeking to pursue chaos. I believe that if a practitioner heeds the 6 core principles, all of them, not just like picking and choosing, but actually heeds them and seeks to pursue them, if those 6 core principles are all parts of their pursuit of practice, that whole philosophy there, then I would consider that practitioner to be a chaot, personally. I also think how you can really sort of pinpoint a chaot as opposed to an eclectic witch is that imagination, creativity, questioning, exploration, magical experimentation, they're all key factors in a practitioner's journey in pursuit of working chaotically, embracing chaos magic. Another thing I will say, I don't believe that chaos is completely unstructured, but I also believe that it's not overly structured. I do agree with Kellyanne's view that it's very important to sort of track your progress in the experiments that you do. It's important to write down, what you're doing, the results you get, so that in the future you can rework, change, tweak, whatever, as you're growing, changing, finding your truth and seeing what works for you, like building that, you're sort of building your way, building your path. I do believe that tracking that progress is important. I also believe, too, a lot of chaots, I think, from what I have seen, though again, take this with a grain of salt, it's just my perception. I feel like a lot of chaots, they get overly hung up on, following in the footsteps of the founders of chaos theory and practice. And I think while it's good to, learn about and consider the writings of those who conceived or largely influenced chaos magic, or the chaos, movement, I think it's important to remember that their journeys are not our journeys. It is really important to question those writings, to sort of test them through firsthand experience, and through exploration, experimentation, and so on and so forth. I don't believe we should just take, oh, well, they said this, so that's how I got to do it. Says who? Says who? Some might think my personal approach is totally nonsensical, but I try not to invest too much effort and energy in worrying about or being concerned with how others have pursued or are pursuing their journey of chaos magic. I worry more about my own evolution, the evolution of my understandings and experience with chaos. Granted, again, I'm no expert, but while considering what others have said on the subject, or while considering the suggestions of others is good as a very, very loose guide, I don't think we should fall into the trap of letting those suggestions or those writings accidentally become dogma for us. There is one thing that I would like to clarify, of course, that I said in a video that I did here on my own channel a while ago. In my video, viewer requested Chaos Magic and Me, when I was kind of outlining what chaos magic is, I did talk about, how it is possible to have religious beliefs or certain beliefs of your own and yet still be a chaot. But in reviewing what I said, I recognized that there was something that I left out, some important things that I probably should have said for clarification. And by the way, I'm going to have my viewer requested Chaos Magic and Me video linked in the description of this video for those that have not seen that but might be interested in seeing that after reviewing, Kellyanne's video, after viewing this video. If any of you want to see what I have personally said in terms of chaos magic in relation to myself, and all that, you can go in the description of this video and check that out. But anyway, So I was saying you can take your beliefs with you, but what I neglected to say is that if you have particular like religious beliefs, you can retain them, but I think I neglected to say as long as you have firsthand experience that sort of validates why you hold those beliefs, number one. And number two, I feel that it is important to still retain the ability and the desire to question those beliefs that you have and to explore them. You know, don't be bound by any sort of dogma that may or may not come with those beliefs that you may have. Maybe utilizing the pursuit of gnosis in order to allow your religious beliefs to expand and or deepen is something that would be very beneficial and important to your journey as a chaot, because again, we don't seek to fall into any kind of dogmatic way of thinking. So, as a general rule, anyway, if we're considering the 6 core principles of chaos. So, I think that's something I should have mentioned in that video. I should have mentioned that while I do believe you can retain your beliefs, one should question those beliefs. One should explore those beliefs further. One should utilize gnosis to allow those beliefs to deepen and or evolve. Now that I'm addressing some issues and things in hindsight in regard to chaos, now that I'm VRing to Kellyanne's video, I just thought I would come on here and just kind of throw that in as well. So I hope that at least is helpful in clarifying that one aspect of the video that I made. Viewer requested Chaos Magic and me. These are just my thoughts in response to Kellyanne's video. I hope I haven't left out anything. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to ask me in regard to anything I've said, or if you want to just bring anything forth in regard to this, I do welcome that. I do recommend that you go down in the description and do watch her video as well. I think we should take care to not fall into the sort of trap of very strictly defining something that is not so rigid, you know? So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope some of what I've said maybe sparks some thinking in you, you know, some food for thought here is what I wanted to bring forth. I wanted to just kind of touch upon some things that I feel and think in regard to what chaos magic is and isn't. And with that, I'm going to wish you blessed be and ashe. Until next time, until our next exchange, you stay awesome. And bye-bye for now.